What's up, everybody? It's the Faceless Caseworker. We're back at it again with another one, continuing the series, The Rise of the White Gangsters. We're not talking about Aryan Nation. We're not talking about white biker gangs. We're talking about African American originated black gangs with white members. And today we're talking about the rapper Millyz. Millyz is from Cambridge, Massachusetts. All right. If anybody knows about Cambridge, Massachusetts, it's a pretty rough place. Now, if anybody who's squared out and doesn't know the hood, Cambridge, Massachusetts is also known for Harvard and MIT, two of the biggest universities, top universities in America. All right. But that wasn't the route that Millyz took. Millyz was born there, but he chose an alternative route into the streets. Now, Millyz said that he grew up in his father and mother's house. His father was a little bit more strict, but his father was a musician and his house was free to do, but his mother's house is where everything went down, but it was a little bit more strict. But we know when it comes to mamas and boys, they'll let a boy do what they want to do. So Millyz proceeded to go to the streets and hang out with friends, and doing things what he does. I haven't really seen any information of him being descriptive of the things that he's done. But looking at Cambridge, Massachusetts, we know there's a lot of drug dealing. As he mentioned, Cambridge, Massachusetts has $1 million drug blocks. Now, the Faceless Caseworker was born in the Bronx, New York, and I can tell you that the corners that were on my block were full of drugs. All right, we had drug dealers on every corner. We had Dominicans, Jamaicans, all right, and African Americans. Right, the Dominicans sold heroin, the African Americans sold crack, and the Jamaicans sold weed, and the shoplifters sold Flintstone vitamins. All right, that's right. The crackheads had no teeth, but their hair and nails as beautiful as a mole. All right, I don't know how it was in Cambridge, Massachusetts, but yeah. So we know that crack is everywhere. So I'm putting Millie probably was associated with drug dealing, different things of that, or associated with people who did it. But Millie went to, he didn't let the streets catch up with him because I don't see if he has a criminal record. But he definitely, with his rap image, portrays someone who was in a gang. All right. So if you want to hear more about this, hit the subscribe button. All right. Millyz, if you look at a lot of his pictures and images, he hangs with some of the toughest rappers in the industry. All right. He has street credibility. He has the tattoos. He got the MS-13 marks on his neck like he's a Ecuadorian. All right. But he's definitely Caucasian. He might be Irish. Don't know. Didn't look that up. But what's important is that Millyz is associated with some of the toughest known street rappers in the street. Not so many of these rappers that he associates with actually put work, but they're known gang members. First one, Jim Jones. He had a video with Jim Jones on World Star. We all know Jim Jones is a non-Trey blood member. Did he become a blood member? Really? No, probably. Jim Jones was more of a hype man for Cameron, and then somehow Bloods got popular in the street. I don't recall Jim Jones going to jail around the time the Bloods was created in 1993 in New York City, but somehow he found himself joining it. So I'm sure he just joined it just to be down. All right, but we know that he is a known gang member. All right, was associated with the Bloods that were associated with kidnapping Tekashi 6ix9ine. All right, the non-Trey Bloods. All right. Now, Millyz was also associated with Snoop Dogg, who's a known Crip member from West Coast. All right, and we know that really, really tough Millyz hangs with who? Dave East from Spanish Harlem, and he is a known Crip. Some people question Dave East's affiliation with the Crips because they're like, how does somebody become Crip as a grown man? Because we all know that Dave East used to play basketball. All right, now I'm not saying a basketball player can be a gang member, but Dave East, come on now. We know he's from the hood, but official Crip member? I don't think so. All right, but this series here is all about how do white males who are predominantly on the highest scale of income in America, highest level of education, predominantly grow up in fathers and mother households. How do they end up associating with the streets, or what is it? Is it the allure? Well, Millyz seems to be different. He seems that hip hop took part of him. Millyz was in high school in Cambridge and was also in a special ed class for causing problems. So we know that he was definitely a kid who got into some stuff. But there's really no record of him saying that he was a gun toter, a true gangster or a true street guy who was going in and out of prison. All right. All we see is that he is associated with tough guys now that he raps. But look at the pictures. Looks like he's a blood member. It looks like a Krypton one. Looks like he could be Latin King. All right. But allegedly he's half Puerto Rican. All right. So we know that he got co-signs from Jadakiss in the rap game. But what about his street affiliations? There isn't much left here. It just says that he was in the streets. So it makes me think that Millyz portrays himself on World Star and YouTube and different places as he's tougher than he really is. All right, he said that he's been through some stuff but gives no description. All right, when somebody leaves something out in a rap career, when we know rappers usually brag about the crimes that they committed to further their careers, Millyz just looks like a guy who's been through some stuff but mentions nothing about it. So either he's a very smart criminal from the past or he has nothing to talk about. All right, I see no criminal record of his. I tried to do a search. It's nothing. All right, so I'm assuming that Millyz is not really a gangster. He just looks like one. All right, you bring Millyz with you, you would think like Dave Chappelle said, that's the toughest white boy in the building. You better watch him. Them white guys are hanging with him, man. You know he's a tough guy. You better be careful. But yeah, Millyz, I don't see much information on Millyz. Millyz definitely looks like a tough guy. I mean, if you walk into a bodega and Millyz was standing there, you would think some bloods blooded him in or some Crips put him into the gang. But I see no information. If anybody's watching this and knows information on Millyz or why he dresses like a gangbanger, if it's just not for a hip-hop image, or is he really in these streets? All right, but we see that he's been rapping for quite some time. So if he was in the streets, that probably was a while ago because he's been rapping for at least 10 years. He was on MySpace, so it's longer than 10 years. All right, but Millyz, he chose that image. Is it for rap or is it because he really was affiliated with the streets? All right, this whole series is about the rise of white gangbangers. 1090 Jake, who's the daddy and father of the movement. We got End of Sentence. He's also a guy claiming he's been in prison and does videos and a whole bunch of black guys getting fried in courtrooms, you know? So somebody has to combat this stuff, right? We're going to start doing series on white tough guys. You want to show black guys getting hung in the court system that we know does not do a good job. Now, I'm not justifying any of these guys that he puts on there. Clearly, End of Sentence put some criminals on there that probably deserve to go to prison for 150 years. But let's get back to Millyz. Millyz, I don't see any criminal record. I don't see anything about him. All right, but he definitely associates with the toughest guys. Why? Because it gives him credibility. You know, somebody like Chief Keef and all these other guys have to have criminal records, past murder charges, beat, you know, and Millyz can just walk into the rap industry with no history of anything, just look like a tough guy. And he can get a record deal, he can move up. Not taking anything from the guy's grind. Clearly, he was hustling hard, moved to New York to get on. He really wanted to rap, had to pursue, show somebody how to become a rapper. But why do you have to portray yourself as a tough guy, Millyz? Huh? We know Boston is tough, all right? But why you have to portray yourself as some kind of blood man, like you're non-Trey? Is he non-Trey? Anyone know? Is he money, sex, money, murder? Please, somebody let me know if you're watching this. All right, hit the subscribe button. We're not gonna go through more of this, but all right. Millyz is actually a good rapper, pretty good. I could listen to some of his stuff. All right, and what do you think, guys? Is Millyz in a gang? Tell me, he definitely looks like he's in one. Scary white guy. All right. Hit the subscribe button. We'll continue this series, The Rise of the White Gangbanger. If you have anybody you want me to review, say it in the description box or hit my email, imadethat@gmail.com. Other than that, it's the faceless caseworker. Until next time.